Hello everyone, welcome back. I've brought in this dwarf myrtle today to do a bit of pruning on it and clean up the landscape a bit. I've got this back branch here, it's at the bottom branch, and it's quite weak in comparison to the rest. And if I leave it, keep growing, all the energy is growing in here, and this is getting shaded out more and more. That's why I want to try and keep on top of the pruning on it, keep the prune back, and try and get this back branch growing a bit stronger. I won't be going too crazy with the pruning, like doing individual pads and all like I did the last time. This is just basically take away some of the vigour out the top of the tree. It's just starting to get a bit too full, and it'll start shading out the rest of it. And I just want to clean up the landscape a bit. It's getting very kind of messy looking and weeds and stuff, so we'll give that a bit of a clean out, ready for the winter of ahead. So alright, so first thing we'll do anyway is we'll just take away all these rocks and stuff so that we can prune without getting it all over the place. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to be doing what I normally do, is take each piece and individually do each little pad. This is going to be more of a kind of a hedge pruning instead, just to reduce the vigour. You can see this back branch here, it's quite, there was another branch and it broke, the birds broke it on me, so I've had to try and train this branch to fill in the gap, so that's why it's weaker than the rest of the tree. So I'm just going to go in and, just like I said, hedge prune it. Maybe I could do with a better scissors for this job. Let's see what we got here. Maybe these little ones, the longer blades, have a bit more control. I will still try to give it some sort of shape rather than just prune it into a ball. I just won't be as fussy as doing each individual tiny pad, as trying to create lots and lots of little tiny pads. It'll be a little bit less intense pruning. I normally leave this tree out for the winter. It just depends how mild a winter we're going to have. Last year it was quite mild, so it was fine, but I will keep an eye on it, and if I find it's getting very cold, then I might just bring it in to my shed under the grow lights just to protect it. And if there's any sign of snow, which we don't normally get, we don't get snow now and again, once every few years. If we do get any snow or anything, I'll definitely get it in, because the branches are quite brittle, and I think the weight of any snow on them will snap them. And after seeing how much work it's been just to get that one branch to grow in, I definitely don't want to be losing any more if we can help it. Lovely smell of it when you clip this. So like this pad here now, normally I would create 3 or 4 pads out of this one, but for the sake of this pruning, I'm just going to make one, and then this will probably be the only pruning this gets this year, the last pruning, and then we'll have another look at it next year. Like that down here, I'm just going to take off very little, not the bottom branches, just take off any bits that are going a little bit too strong. It's more the top here, around sides that is just getting a little bit too thick, and it'll start shading out the lower branches. So if you haven't seen this tree before, when I got this tree, it was a very small little couple of branches on it, and I actually planted it inside of an old ruin of a plastic house, and it was coming out the top of the house, but it outgrew the house pretty quickly, so I took it out of that, and it's been growing in this ever since. It's actually one of my favourite trees because I like the way it looks. Obviously I think it looks pretty realistic tree, but also because I've had it for quite a while now, and from what it started as this little ugly branch basically in the pot, I like the way it's turned out. You just got to be careful with it, because like I said, if it ever fell or got knocked over, I think it would snap pretty easily. You'd definitely lose some branches, that's for sure, because they are quite brittle. Okay, just trying to create a little bit of a light in between, just trying some light down into the tree, down to the bottom branches. So I'm just going around now and just cleaning out in between some of the pads. Some cobwebs in there which are collecting all the clippings. Try and get all of them out. I definitely like the way it's turning out. This tree definitely looks like something you would see growing in the middle of a field or something. I think if I was doing my my sycamore gap tree smaller, this would definitely be one of the contenders for it. But it's a bit small for the wall and that I've built, so maybe one day it'll have its own little wall or something, this one. At the moment I'm just kind of growing it and putting like a little Japanese garden around it with some rocks and moss and stuff. Okay, let's have a look at that now. Look into the bed. See, this back branch needs to fill out more. So I've had it facing the sun. It just needs to fill out another little bit. The tree itself is kind of this bit here. It's kind of getting a little bit wide and lumpy. We could just take that back another little bit. I don't mind it being a bit lumpy here and there. I don't want it a perfect ball shape. I want it to be kind of irregular. it's like that when I got it. It was growing, and I think there was 3 branches growing off it, and I took away 1, kept 2, and then I got a side branch growing here, and then I just kept taking 1 off, leaving 2, and like that, reducing it until I got it to where it is today. And again, this is one of the reasons why I make the videos, because I've no record. I think I might have a photograph somewhere of it when I got it and planted it in the tree, but I'd have to search for it. Whereas now at least I can look back at my trees and see what they look like in the past. This here is the front of the tree, but you could always turn it slightly. So it pretty much looks okay all around except for maybe this angle, because it's a bit empty here, but when this fills out, I'm hoping to make it so that it looks good from every angle. Okay, so I'm just going to give this one a very light pruning, just to try and encourage some more ramifications, try and help thicken it up. Maybe reduce this one back a little bit to let a little more light in. Okay, I think that'll do for this pruning. Now I'll just clean off this, give it a sweeping off a bit, and then we'll have a look at doing some work on this. Now I did have a path going through here. I've got one path that's coming through this way, and then another path over this side. There's some small paths leading to a kind of little square for my little figurine guy to sit on. So we'll have a look and see if we're going to stick with that or change it a bit. I think I might just change a bit. Maybe I'll just take off this moss for now. We'll put it back on. Let's put that over there. Keep all the good moss to one side. I did go collecting a little bit of moss today, so we've got some new stuff as well we can add to it. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to get rid of this path now. I'm just going to keep this path over here, this little square at the end of it, and we'll take out this one. So what am I best to use? Maybe my rake. These bricks are loose. These I glued together. These ones were all loose on this side. And just scrape all them out. You can wash them and use them again for something. Something to put in there. Again, this is going to probably be overgrown in no time again, but I just don't like looking at my trees all dirty looking and full of weeds and moss, and that's all rotted away and stuff. I want to try and keep my trees as nice, especially my favourite trees like this one. I like to go out and look at it and stuff, so you want to keep it in its best shape as I can. Scrape all this back a little bit and put some fresh new sand on there. Now this path seems to be okay. Weeds here, we'll just dig them out. yeah, just because it's winter coming and a lot of trees are starting to look bare now and a bit ugly looking, some of them. The ones that you can kind of keep some bits spruced up and looking nice, I think it's always worth doing, because you don't want to be walking around your garden and everything being looking in a bit of a state because it's lost all its foliage and it's just wet and mucky and looking. I can't keep it as... The only thing that I was disappointed about with this tree was the root. The roots are pretty bad on it, and one day I might pluck up the courage to go in and do a big root pruning on it, but it's got roots sticking up all over the place on it. But for this kind of pending, it kind of isn't too bad, because I want it a kind of a wild looking kind of tree with lots of roots on the ground and stuff, like you would see in a park and things like that. You got roots all sticking out everywhere, so it actually works good for this kind of pending. Okay, so just give that a brushing off now. And then we'll have a blank canvas to start again on. We'll just our pass. Okay, so I'll get some sand and we've got some white sand here, so we'll use that. So I want it looking kind of like I said, like a little Japanese garden kind of a thing. A little scoop. So I'll start off by just covering the whole thing in white sand first, and then we'll add our moss and our rocks. I think this might need repotting alright next year, next spring. I'm not sure how long it's been this pot now, but it's been a few years. So you can see a lot of this sand. It's just going to be where the kind of rock garden is. Not sure what they call them in Japan. Kind of. Okay. So that's our blank canvas to work on. So I'll just go in and get the moss that I collected. Okay, so I've just wet it down a little bit. I've broken the moss. Lots of different types of moss. I think the first thing we need to do is decide on our rocks again. And I was thinking, now these rocks, these are ones are made out of clay. You mould them and then you bake them in the oven and they go hard, and then I just kind of painted them and they were pretty good. They've been outside for a few years now. These are just like a plasticky kind of one that I got, and I just painted that up. So I'm thinking this is going to be our kind of rock in the garden with the sand, and then these we'll put around with our moss. So I'm thinking if we put this one on the kind of edge here of the path like that. We can maybe even put put this one on the edge as well. Just put a little bit more sand in there. On the edge there like that too. So it's kind of gives us an edge around the path. And then we will fill in with some moss. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of moss in between here. There, just to kind of break the edge a bit. Right in there. And get a tallish bit back here. Another bit there. Just kind of fill in around the rocks. Got some fine stuff as well here. We'll pull some of that out. We can use some of that. Just need to put a little bit of, bring the camera in a little bit. So I'm just going to put, get rid of that clean edge there, and I'm just going to put some little bits in along the edge if we can, just in the gaps like that. Make it look like the rock's been there for a while. Here. I'm just racking it back here. This gives us a better edge to our rock. Need a little bit on this rock here. Okay, so we have them rocks now kind of set in. Now, around the tree, I think we want to be kind of, I want this side to be kind of like moss balls and stuff, and this side be more sand. Maybe put this moss ball here. Maybe put that biggish one in the middle there. And I don't want to block off the trunk with a rock. I can help it, but don't want it too close to that one either. If we put it kind of here, you can still kind of see the trunk there. Put some of this finer stuff again. sand. Okay, so we need some back here as well. Little hole here we can fill in. Now, what I'll do is I'll put some of this finer stuff on the edge of the path this side, next to the tree. Now, I'm cutting it kind of straight now, but it'll kind of blend in eventually. And just kind of start spreading over the path slightly. That should make it look kind of more natural. Just put a bit in there, a bit on this side of the tree. Okay, now it's going to need something back here. Maybe again we'll go some moss balls more. So, got a bit of height back there. One here, like that. Okay, so that's that side more or less done. Now we want over here, this side now. I want to try and make like a, you imagine a kind of Japanese gardens with the sand and the little moss and rocks. I think I need a bit of an edge of moss. Just so it's not on the sand isn't out to the edge of the pot. Don't really like it out to the edge of the pot. I'm going to try and create, if I can, a little border of sand and of moss, I mean. Maybe another little kind of, see what we got. Okay, we got some more of these. A little bit for the front, just again to knock off the sand from hitting the edge of the pot. In there, like that. Now we'll fill this in with some more sand, just to raise the sand up a little bit. I don't know if it needs any more stones. I think we'll start putting more rocks in. Is it going to start looking a bit too full, too cluttered down there? Is one stone better? Is that stone too big? Let me have a look. If I had a tiny one, maybe I would put a little tiny one somewhere, but I don't right now, so we'll just go with this for now. Alright, this will do, so we'll just top this up now with some more sand. Fill that in. I was thinking of making a perimeter around it with some flat stones or something, but maybe next time, we'll see. Okay, just give that a little watering in. I was even thinking of putting maybe a couple of tiny miniature bonsai in here that they had, but again, for now the stone will do. Okay, so all that's left is put our little man back, looking up at the tree, reading his book, and let's say we can call that one done. So like I said, I'll put that out on the bench, but I'll keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the weather, and definitely if I see getting really cold or anything, I'll protect it and make sure it's not out in any storms or anything where it might get damaged. Okay, so that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any comments, leave them down below, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.